What is up, fight fans? I am Jason BURGOS for Sherdog.com, and for this interview, we are going to get a little savage, as my guest tonight is one of the most underappreciated top-flight grapplers in all of the UFC. At UFC Vegas 3, she notched her 4th submission in the promotion, 6 of her 8 wins. She was set to compete this Sunday at Submission Underground 16, but unfortunately those plans have changed. But I will leave that up to her to explain, and that person is the Savage, Gillian Robertson. Gillian, a belated happy Canada Day to you, and thanks for the time today.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to talk to you.
Now, your victory, but you know what, before we even get to that, because my script was set up to talk about the UFC and then SUG, but, you know, let's just get the whole SUG thing out of the way. Let's just get that elephant out of the room. What is the situation that is keeping you, unfortunately, from not competing at SUG 16 this week?
So unfortunately today, one of my training partners that I've been working with close all last week, they tested positive for COVID-19. So I got a call from the UFC today telling me that I should probably quarantine for 14 days regardless if I am positive or negative of COVID. So I took a test today and I'm waiting for the results, but unfortunately I had to pull out just for safety at the moment.
And what was Submission Underground? Like, who do you call? Do you call Chael? Like, got bad news? Like, what was their reaction? I'm sure that's a bummer because it's co-main event, you know, big thing. It's a big get to have you be a part of this this event coming up.
They were very understanding about it. Of course, it's a weird situation with the way the world is in right now. So it's not necessarily expected, but everything is kind of touchy at the moment. And like even with the UFC card coming up, I saw there was 4 corners and 4 fighters that tested positive for the Fight Island cards.
Yep.
So it's like it's obviously becoming a bigger problem.
Does it like, well, the first question is, are you, I mean, no disrespect to Submission Underground, but are you like, thank God it happened now and not like 2 weeks ago and I lost a lot of money? And then 2, does it kind of change your perspective going into the next fight? Because like you mentioned perfectly, there's all these other fights that have been, you know, canceled or postponed because of other people. Are you like, damn, like I made it through camp and then I just got lucky in that it happened a week or 2? Like, are you going to maybe have to adjust going forward? Maybe go back to a smaller camp or a group for the next camp?
Well, it's like we have had a fairly small camp, but it's just been me and a handful of fighters and my coach. But unfortunately, it's hard to control the circumstance. You know, like little thing, like you can control who's going to see somebody else, or you don't know really who has it. People can be pre-symptomatic or asymptomatic and still be contagious. So it's like you don't really know like who you're dealing with, I guess. And I'm definitely fortunate it happened now instead of pre-fight.
Yeah. And is the, you know, based from what you've talked with the Submission Underground, is there an expectation it'll maybe just get rescheduled to the next event, the Submission Underground 17, or do you think they may end up just getting a replacement for Amanda Loewen and the fight may not happen?
I'm hoping that it does get rescheduled to the next event. I messaged them and asked them if they would just please keep me in mind for any events. I'm always willing to compete. I'm all like, no matter what, I'm trying to stay as active as possible. And if I can't be in the UFC cage, I'm trying to grapple. So the more often I can get grappling matches, the better it is for me.
Now I have some more Submission Underground questions for you, but let's talk about this big win you just had. Your victory a couple weeks ago. You got back into the win column after a setback against Macy Barber, moving you to 5-2 in the UFC with all your wins by stoppage. The surprising thing is you just turned 25. You haven't even entered your proverbial prime yet as a professional athlete, and in only 12 fights. Do you feel you have even really scratched the surface on your potential? You know, as each year goes by, do you look back and see very clear like jumps in progression from year to year now?
Oh yeah, I definitely see jumps from year, like looking at some of my older even like my UFC debut. It's like it's just not me. That's not who I am as a fighter anymore. But like you said, I'm still only 25 years old. I have so much time to grow, and I know that I'm nowhere near where I'm going to be. I know within the next couple of years, I'll be standing across the cage from Valentina, and I'll be ready for that moment.
You have built a reputation as one of the best grapplers in in any of the women's divisions, alongside someone like a Mackenzie Dern who gets a lot of credit for it. And aside from Ronda Rousey, there haven't been those female athletes in the company that have built a legacy off submissions, like like guys like Damian Maia or Charles Oliveira and stuff like that have for the men's side of things. Of course, the goal is to be a UFC champ. You just mentioned being across the cage from Valentina one day, but is, like a bucket list thing for you, all-time submissions in the women's division, and even bigger so, is a bucket list hopeful legacy thing just being a part of the all-time submission men or women conversation one day?
I was just about to say that. I'm not trying to say that for just women. I know Charles Oliveira I think he's at like 14 right now, so I can get 10 more. Like, I'm trying to beat his record. I'm trying to beat all the boys here.
Now, you mentioned in the post-fight presser hoping to land in the top 15 after beating Courtney Casey, since she was 15 at the time. Women's flyweight right now, it isn't as deep as the other divisions since it's still pretty new, meaning there are opportunities for big, fluctuations in the rankings. Are you surprised you didn't get into the rankings considering the finish you've had in the division? And especially since you have a submission on the person ranked 15 right now in Molly McMahon, frankly, is that kind of annoying?
Yeah, honestly, it was, Courtney Casey was ranked 15 until 5 days before our fight. The UFC decided they randomly changed, like, nobody fought or anything. They just randomly changed the rankings. So, it definitely was upsetting to see that I wasn't ranked, that I didn't have an opportunity to be ranked after that, and to see that Molly McCann got ranked after I already, like you said, I already finished her. But, no matter what, I'm in no rush. I'm here to just fight from bottom to the top. So I know, like you said, I fought Molly McCann. Number 14, I think, is Ji Young Kim. She's already matched up. At number 12 and 13, Antonina Shevchenko and Montana De La Rosa. They both seem pretty available, so I'd love to have those two across the cage in the near future.
Cynthia Calvillo moved up to flyweight and beat the woman who was ranked number 1 at the time. Now, Calvillo went from being being ranked as strawweight to number 2 now in flyweight after one fight. What are your thoughts on something like that? Are you in that group that feels, hey, if you beat someone and had their ranking, you should get their ranking or close to it? Or is there some surprise that she could just jump in and get pushed right to the top of the division, in a division you and a lot of people have been grinding away in for some time? You're 5-2 and you're not even getting ranked. She's number 2 already. Come on now.
Yeah, I definitely feel like it was a little bit unfair, especially after she missed weight twice at 115.
Mm-hmm.
She gets gifted with a main event spot where Jessica I misses weight again. So I think that's like her second or third time too for Jessica I. But with yeah, it's like I don't think Cynthia deserves that spot at all. Like you got to work your way up, and especially like the girls that she's fought, she's never really beaten anyone legit.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, she does not, like, that's what makes the fact you're not ranked with your finishes all the more maddening. But now moving on to Submission Underground, just general Submission Underground talk, has competing in Submission Underground been something you've wanted to do for a while? And do you feel they need to try and push more female matchups, like you were going to have with Amanda? Because it's heavy on the testosterone. There's not a lot of female matches in Submission Underground's history.
Okay, especially with in jiu-jitsu, there's so many girls that are just next level. Like, I feel like in MMA, we're still evolving a little bit more, but jiu-jitsu girls, like, it's like there's so many girls that are really dedicated and really put on a show, and they're so technical. So I would love to see more girls in Sub Underground, and this would have been my first one to do, but it would have. Like, I was looking forward to it so much. It really broke my heart that I wasn't able to do it. Doing, like, jiu-jitsu tournaments for me is just, like, it's like playtime, It's like, go have fun. When you have a fight, you got to be serious. But when you can do jiu-jitsu, it's just, that's my world. That's fun for me.
Now, this is an interesting question, and I'm going to flip it a little bit because of the, the circumstances that have changed, but this may work out better for you in a way, because a lot of times, like, for example, there's a belief, and James Krause talked to me about it, that when you're a fighter in a fight camp, you're kind of spread thin in terms of you're working on so many different arts. So to jump in against these people that are just pure grapplers, grappling every day, all day long, it's a hard ask for certain MMA fighters. Example being Alexei Olenek. He matched up with Gordon Ryan, I believe it was in Quintet or something like that, and he lost him. And when I talked to him, he felt he lost because he had just been in a fight camp. He was, spread thin, not focusing on just grappling. And he says when they actually went and worked out a little bit on the gym, weeks later, things were a little bit different. So another example, Jessica Eye, she just came off a fight camp. She went for a match up with Amanda Loewen, and she lost. Amanda Loewen beat her. What's your thinking? Like, do you feel in a way maybe it worked out for the best because now you can see maybe you get a scheduled day. Okay, I'm gonna be a submission underground 17 or whatever, and just be able to just do all grappling going into that to go against someone like Amanda Loewen, who's become like the female face of the promotion for them.
I definitely believe that would be helpful, but no matter what, I guess I'm ready year round. I'm ready to do whatever year round. I'm training jiu-jitsu, stand-up, and wrestling all the time, every day. So she might have a little bit more of an edge, but I don't think it would matter necessarily that much.
Now, and I know that you're not a trash talker, but they had a fan poll on their Instagram account asking fans who they thought would win every fight. You were picked 58% to beat her if you would have had this matchup. Are you surprised at all by the number, or you think, you know what, I've done it at the highest level in the UFC. I think I'm better than her.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily surprised by that number. I'm confident in my skills. I believe that every match that I walk into, I believe I'm gonna win it. But I've never really watched her before besides her last match with Jessica Eye, and she just didn't seem necessarily aggressive. You know, she kept a closed guard a lot of the time and wasn't really looking for a finish. So it makes me confident to go in there and know that I'm always going to be hunting. I'm always looking for the kill, always looking for the finish.
Now, a topic of conversation recently was on new UFC fighter Kay Hansen, how during her Invicta run, which started when she was 18 years old, she got pushed into promoting certain, and Kay Hansen got pushed into promoting certain, like, popular right-wing conservative values. She claimed it was, like, manipulation from bad actors in her life at the time. You started your amateur run at the same age, 18 years old. Are there elements of your early career where you made mistakes you wish you could take back, by listening to the wrong people or trusting the wrong people, because just on a general level, you were so inexperienced in life in a very adult industry?
I guess not necessarily. I don't regret anything that I've ever done. I definitely took some fights that I shouldn't have done. Just said fuck it in a lot of moments where I probably should have stepped back and made a smarter decision. But no matter what, those are the choices that took me to the place that I am today. So I'm proud of them.
Now, last question, and this is because Submission Underground is great because they have these fascinating tag team matches sometime on occasion, which are wild. And I am a big fan of your head coach, Dean Thomas. I've talked to him a couple times. The guy's fantastic, the guy's hilarious, and he's just a legend. What would your thoughts be of Dean Thomas, Gillian Robertson, tag team matches Submission Underground? Let's make it happen.
Shit, I want to see Dean get on the mat in general. I haven't seen that yet. It would be awesome if that did happen, but yeah, like I said, Dean doesn't train anymore, so just to see him get on the mat would be impressive.